In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to replace the HWD file in a PLUS+1 guide application. There's a couple of reasons why you might want to do this. The primary ones being if you want to apply a new version of an HWD to take advantage of bug fixes or general improvements, or you're migrating to a new platform which requires a new HWD. First, let's just review briefly what's in the HWD. The most important thing in the HWD is the sys file or SYS file. This is the operating system for your controller. When you compile an application and guide, the resulting LHX file will contain both your application as well as the operating system contained in the sys file. You'll also see the API corresponding to that sys file, which tells you which signals can be written to and read from the operating system. You'll find the template for your sys and API files, which is basically a compilable blank application. You'll also find other miscellaneous files such as the datasheet and release notes. The release notes are particularly important because they will tell you what bug fixes have been implemented since the previous versions. Let's take a look at these in our guide project. Here's our sys file, and just below it we'll find the API corresponding to that sys file. Here's our template. Remember, the template is blank, so if you reapply the template, you'll be starting over with a new application. And then here's the miscellaneous files and release notes below. So let's say you're experiencing a problem with your application and you call the help desk. They tell you that your problem is a known issue that was corrected in the latest HWD version. They ask you to update the HWD in your application. How do you do that, you ask yourself? Well, it's extremely easy, and the first thing you have to do is get the HWD to your computer. You can do this in two ways. The first way is by going to our website, finding the device you're interested in, and downloading the HWD. But the easier way is to use the Download Center. It allows you to select the updates that you're interested in, to have it automatically look for updates on a schedule that you set, and download them to a location that you select, and finally install them in your guide environment. Once you've got the new HWD in your guide environment, either by manually downloading and installing or by using the Update Center, you've still got to apply it to your application, which is basically a one-click operation. Find the new HWD in your Hardware tab, right-click and select Use this hardware in project. That's all there is to it. What you don't want to do at this point is then apply the template, like we would do if we were starting a new project. That would start over with a blank application and you'd lose any existing code. Another frequently encountered case when you'd want to swap the HWD in a project is when you're migrating from one platform to another, for instance from the MC5020 to the newer MC5120. If you want to keep your application as is, this is a very easy migration. For the 100 series controllers, you'll generally find three versions of the HWD: NL, LG, and OS. For a migration, the version you'll probably want to use is LG, which stands for Legacy. This uses the signal names from the API for the old controller for backwards compatibility. Using this HWD will allow you to compile your 0 series program to run on a 1 series controller. That said, it is a new controller with different timing and a different compiler, so you still need to test your application thoroughly to see if it performs as expected. The NL HWD, which stands for non-legacy, uses the naming conventions and signals from the new API. Use it if you're starting a project from scratch or with an older application if you're willing to do the extra work to change your existing code to meet the new naming. The OS HWD for old symbols is rarely used. It's used with programs that use the old CAN and EEPROM symbols. Note that the naming conventions for display HWDs for the 600 series are a little different. Use the table below when migrating from an older 600 series platform to a newer one. From this point, we do basically the same operation that we did earlier. Find the HWD that you want to use in your project. Here we'll use an LG for a platform migration. Right-click on the HWD and select Use this hardware in project, and then you should be able to compile. Remember to thoroughly test your application afterwards. We hope that you found this tutorial useful. Remember that +1 community help is available on the +1 user forum at plus1forum.danfoss.com, or contact the +1 help desk at +1 help desk, PLUS +1 help desk at danfoss.com. Thank you for your attention.